Good morning, myself Dr. Mrunal Akre, Assistant Professor, Department of Dravyagun, Global Institute of Ayurveda. In our pharmacology series, now we will going to see antihistamines. These antihistamines are generally used in respiratory tract diseases. Now, what are antihistamines? Many H1 antihistamines have been conventionally added to antitussive and expectorant formulations. They afford relief in cough due to their sedative and anticholinergic action. Due to this anticholinergic action, they generally suppress the higher cough centers of the brain, due to which the reflex of the cough is decreased, and all the productive cough or all that sputum, it get expelled out, but lack selectivity on the other centers. They have no expectorant property, may even reduce secretion by anticholinergic action. They have been specially promoted for cough in respiratory allergic states, though their lack of efficacy in asthma is legendary. Many drugs are there which are used as just like chlorpheniramine maleate, diphenylhydramine, promethazine. Chlorpheniramine, it is given at 2 to 5 milligram. Diphenhydramine, it is given in 15 to 25 milligram dose, and promethazine, it is given 15 to 25 milligram in dose. Generally, promethazine, it is available in trade name as Phenargan. Chlorpheniramine maleate, it is available as CPM or Avil, and diphenhydramine, it is given in combination with cough syrups. Now, H1 antagonist conventional histamines. The drugs completely antagonize action of histamines at the H1 receptor. Recent evidence indicates that histamine H1 receptor exhibits some drugs of constitutive activity, and the H1 antagonists are also inverse agonist. Their pharmacological action, it shows similar action to H1 antihistaminics, but there are quantitative differences, especially in sedative property. Antagonism of histamine. This antagonism of histamine, they are effectively block histamine induced bronchoconstriction, constriction of intestinal and other smooth muscle, and triple response, especially wheal, flare and itch. Anti-allergic action. They also have an anti-allergic action. Many manifest immediate hypersensitivity type 1 reaction are suppressed, that are urticaria, itching, angioedema. They are well controlled by this H1 antagonist. In CNS, the older antihistamines produce variable degree of CNS depressant, due to which some nausea will be there, some drowsiness will be there, sleep will also induce. Now, pharmacokinetics. The conventional H1 antihistamines are well absorbed from oral and parenteral routes. They are metabolized in liver and excreted through urine. They are widely distributed in body and enter in brain. Its blood-brain barrier crossing capacity is high. The newer compound penetrate brain poorly, accounting for low absent sedation action. Duration of action of most agent is 4 to 6 hours, except micolazine, chlorpheniramine, mesolastatin, loratadine, cetirizine, fexofenadine, which act for 12 to 24 hours or more. Side effects of H1 histamines are dryness of mouth, alteration of bowel movement, urinary hesitancy and blurring of vision, epigastric distress and headache. Now, highly sedative H1 are diphenhydramine, then diamenhydrinate, promethazine, hydroxyzine. These all induce sleep. Now, moderately sedative drugs are phenarramine, cyproheptadine, meclizine, and cinnarizine. Mild sedative are chlorpheniramine, dextrochlorpheniramine, triprolidine, and clemastine. Second generation antihistaminics are fexofenadine, loratadine, desloratadine, cetirizine, levocetirizine. This levocetirizine, it never induces sleep, so it is the safest drug to use in the person who drives more. Then azelastine, mesolastine, ibastine, and rupatidine. These all are second generation antihistaminic drugs that we can use in cough or as as an antihistaminic drugs. Now we have seen the drugs of second generation. This how they act. Now we will see the second generation antihistaminics may be defined as those H1 receptor blocker which have one or more properties like CNS depressant, absence of CNS depressant, higher H1 selectivity, no cholinergic side effect, additional anti-allergic mechanism apart from histamine blockade. Some also inhibit late phase allergic reaction by acting on leukotrienes or by antiplatelet activating factor. Most probably these are indicated in allergic rhinitis, conjunctivitis, hay fever, pollinosis, urticaria, dromorphism, atopic eczema, acute allergic reaction by drugs and foods. Fexofenadine. Now this is an active metabolite of terfenadine. It is a first non-sedating second generation antihistaminic that was withdrawn because of several deaths due to polymeric ventricular tachycardia. Generally this fexofenadine it was supposed to cause ventricular tachycardia, due to which patient would have an heart attack and he will face to death. It is rapidly absorbed, excreted, unchanged in urine and bile. Its plasma half-life was 11 to 16 hours and duration of action was 24 hours. Loratadine. It is another long-acting selective peripheral H1 antagonist which lacks CNS depressant effects and is fast-acting drug. Its plasma half-life is 17 hours. Desloratadine. It is a major active metabolite of lortadine, effective as half the dose. Cetirizine. It is metabolite of hydroxyzine with marked affinity for peripheral H1 receptors. It penetrates brain poorly. That's why sedation is mild. It's subject to somnolence is experienced by any receptors. Levocetirizine. It is the active R-negative enantiomer of cetirizine. It is effective at half the dose and appears to produce less sedation than other side effects. All these second generation antihistaminics are used in allergic disorders, a condition involving histamine, pruritus, common cold, motion sickness, vertigo, pre-anesthesia medication, cough, Parkinsonism, acute muscle dystonia, and sedative hypnotic anxiolytic. So these were all about our antihistaminic drugs. Thank you. We will meet in our next lecture.